Hey, moms. I'm so glad you're joining me for one of our Momtrepreneur coffee chats. Got my coffee here. And it is Tuesday night again because we're still playing soccer over the weekend. And the last game is this week. So the babies are in bed. So the youngest ones are in bed. And I was thinking as I was laying there, I needed to share with you my youngest one's favorite playlist that we always have to listen to before she goes to bed. And I will make the playlist and leave a link below so that if you want to share this with your under 2-year-olds, get them nice and calm for bed, you can try this one. So on the playlist is 4 songs. The Boys in the Band by New Kids on the Block, Baby Bye 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 by NSYNC, Jungle Boogie, sung by the Muppets, and Bop by Hanson. So all the classics. And it's actually hilarious because she was snuggling with me as she's holding my phone listening to these. So I just had to share that with you. So this week, as I was thinking about what I wanted to chat about, because sometimes I'm trying to offer substance. I'm not very good at entertainment. So I got the substance part down. So that is what you're getting. You're getting substance. That I was telling my 8-year-old yesterday as he was sitting at his computer telling me Japanese is really hard. Now, last year, he needed more activities to keep him occupied because he was just getting through his schoolwork like that. And so for my sake, I needed something else structured for him. So I signed him up for Duolingo, which is it's a free language learning. And I can't say that we ever learned a language, but they've all been introduced to different languages. So that works. So he had first picked Italian. And I'm like, oh, I love Italian. And it's an easy-ish kind of language to learn, when English is your first language. So he tried that and he goes, this is too hard. So he switched to Japanese. Okay. And for him, he said it was easier. So he decided to try it again. And he's like, this is so hard. So I was telling him, anything worth having is always going to be hard. And as the words are spilling out of my mouth, I'm realizing I needed to hear that as much as he needed to hear that. So that kind of sparked the thought of, oh, this is what we should talk about today for this video. And so then the next question, because it's true, almost anything in life that is worth having is hard to get. Even growing a baby is hard. Figuring out, your career or what you want to do, starting a business, starting a blog, all of these things are hard to do. And if you feel like they're worth it, then it is something that is worth doing despite any difficulties associated with it. And so it made me think of this blog. This is hard. It's really hard to do a blog, do a YouTube channel, to do a podcast, especially when you're a one-woman show and just trying to figure out because the goal is to generate income from these passive sources like affiliate links, advertising, those different things. So that way I can really give free resources to other moms who want the freedom to be able to work from home. So that's the goal. And obviously starting out, it's not really generating any income. So we're working on it. But then all of these thoughts led me to another question, and that is, but how do you know if it's worth it? How do you really know if something hard that you're doing is actually worth it? Because I know there's so many times when you hear people, sorry, I have a hair on me. It's like this phantom uh, spider or something on me, and so it just driving me crazy. I think I got it off. Okay, so I can focus. Um, so how do you know if it's worth it? Because so many times you hear all of these gurus, we'll call them that, telling you never give up, keep going, never give up. And it is true. At times that is what you should be doing. But that's not the case for everything in life. Like, there are some points where, no, you need to quit. Like, the best thing for you and for your family or whatever circumstances you're in is to quit. And like, so that's always been my question. Like, nobody talks about, but when do you quit? I think Seth Godin put out a book. If I can find the book, I'll leave the link below. But he put out a book about how to quit, and I've never read it because I just can't get through his books. I don't know why. I just can't. They make me crazy. But anyway, but in his quit book, he might have something in there. And also, Dr. Henry, I think it's McLeod or Cloud. See, now he wrote a book about quitting. So I'm going to find that book and I'm going to leave it in there because I listened to that one and that one was pretty good. But anyway, so I'm going to give you my thoughts on how do you know if something is worth it. And 2 are from me and 1 is from my husband because I wanted to get his input on this because it's not just like a simple topic to talk about. Okay, so how do you know if it's worth it? Things to, I guess, measure this, it would be money. So, is it like if you are trying to be an actor, trying to be a singer, all these artists, all these careers that are very dependent on other people, trying to start a blog or YouTube channel, all these things, like part of if it's worth it for your time to invest your time into it is if it's making money. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand that things don't make money right out of the chute. As much as we wish they did, they don't. But money is one of those things that will validate whether it is worth it to you. It's not everything. It's just one thing. So the second, I guess, measurement of how do you know something is hard is personal fulfillment. So there's a lot of things, again, that it's worth it but aren't necessarily going to make you money. And you go into that knowing that. But is it one of those things that gives you personal fulfillment? So for me, like, I would like to write a book, not because I think I'm going to be just this great writer or I have so much to say or anything like that. It's just something that I've always wanted to do. So if I were to make this attempt, now the time, it takes a lot of time. So it might take me 10 years to write a book, but we may eventually get there. So you have the time factor. It is going to be a hard endeavor. And like, am I going to make money off of it? Who knows? Who knows? We'll just say that. We'll be optimistic here. Who knows? But I think for me, the personal fulfillment would be very high. It would trump everything else on the list because it's something that I've always wanted to do. So this hard thing would be worth it because I would be personally fulfilled doing it. And then the third one, this was my husband's input. When I asked him the question, I texted him the question at work and he's like, huh? So I explained myself a little bit more. But so he offered what gives you the most for your effort. So sometimes, and he used the example of, are you going to put an extension on the house or finish your basement? What, that was his analogy when I asked him to explain himself. And so you would get the most for your money and for your effort by finishing the basement instead of adding on the extension to your house. And so in your endeavors, what is also going to give you the most for your effort? So I think that is something to think about. So I don't really have an answer. I have suggestions, and that's what these are. Like, how do you know if it's worth it? It's definitely, I would say, money, if that is what you're endeavoring to do. We have to make a living. We can't, we all have to have money to live and to eat. But personal fulfillment is a big one. But at the same time, if you have to make money to feed your family, I think that trumps personal fulfillment sometimes as well. Passion doesn't always pay the bills, and that's okay. And then what gives you the most return for the effort that you put in? So I think those are some good ones to think about. So tell me, I want to know, do you think that anything worth doing is hard? And how would you qualify that whatever that is that you're doing is actually worth doing? So the hard work that you're putting in is actually worth it. How would you decide that? And let me know in the comments below. I'm really curious. I would love to hear what you have to say. So let's continue to never give up. Figure out when we actually need to quit, and we keep going. So I'm so glad you joined me for this little our coffee chat, coffee musings. If you have a topic too that you think we should cover, let me know, because I would like to know. Because like I said, I came up with this one yesterday. So because I was talking to my children, and usually, that's they're very inspiring, whether they realize that or not. So moms, be sure to check out lifeunboxed.blog for more great momtrepreneur content, and be sure to follow me on social media. Facebook, it's Life Unboxed blog, and same for Instagram. Pinterest, it's Life Unboxed. So go ahead and hop on over there. The links are in the description below, so you can hop on over there and like the pages. And I will see you in the next video.